everybody. I'm Michelle Voyer. I'm a director within Client Advisory Services at CohnReznick, and my primary role is geared towards software solutions, technology, AI, and automation. Some of the most common challenges around a technology implementation is a misalignment of the objectives and the goals of that implementation across the team, particularly whether it's the users, the end users, the project management team, and if there is also an outside implementer. It's really important that everyone's aligned from the beginning of the process, because you don't want to end up with workflows that end up getting built that don't actually suit the needs of your team. And so those are some of the most common challenges that we see, in addition to managing all of the various tasks that are required to meet your milestones, and having a really organized approach as to which modules are you implementing and in what order, and who are they serving ultimately within the organization. What really drives adoption at the end of the day is your people. And so you can have the most well-designed system that is tested and absolutely functions appropriately in every way, but without the people behind it really buying into that vision and really understanding what has been designed, or even better, being a part of that design, you're not going to have the best adoption at the end of the day, which is really what drives your ROI on that tool. There's a lot of investment that can be wasted with a tool that's implemented and not fully adopted. So it's very important to align your people component from the beginning. If not on day one, definitely in your software selection process, as well as in your initial stages of project planning, and definitely when it comes to designing the system and making sure that you're aligning the right team members depending on what tool is involved, and understanding what is their current process today, what are some of their biggest challenges, and where are the biggest gaps in technology or in process that can really fuel them and make their lives easier and make them want to adopt the tool. I find the most common roadblocks during an implementation comes from the team getting essentially stuck in a given area. And this can happen at the beginning, midway through, it can happen all the way at the end of the process. And so I've found that the best way to mitigate this roadblock that can come into play is by implementing project management into the process. And this is true even for some of the smaller changes that you're implementing, even if, let's say, you're taking a current tool and you're re-implementing it, or you're getting into a different module of it. I think that there's no job probably too small to implement project management, but it is even more crucial for your larger implementations, especially if you're talking about something like an ERP implementation. And so what the project management process does is it essentially forces all of the stakeholders to get aligned, remain aligned, and actually report up what they are doing and where they stand, what are the risks, how are we going to mitigate the risks, preferably on a weekly basis. And so the best tool to achieve this is something as simple as a weekly status report. And there are many different formats and templates out there, but I think you can't go wrong as long as you are doing it. And essentially your key components of your status report are going to start with your main work streams, which are at the highest level. So you might actually be doing a few things at once, even if it's phase one, but you may be doing your ERP implementation, and you may also be implementing the connection between the ERP and a third-party tool, for example. You might consider those to be separate work streams. And then underneath those work streams, the next layer down, you're gonna have your milestones of what are the core, let's say, modules or components of your ERP implementation, and what are the core things that you need to get done for your other work streams. One layer beneath that is your tasks and the assignment of your tasks and the due date of your tasks. And additionally, you want to track your risks, track how you're mitigating those risks, and have an overall status, green, yellow, or amber, and red, to report on where that project stands every single week. And we find that this tool really, really helps avoid, or at least bring up to the surface, some of these roadblocks before they get too serious. When choosing technology solutions, I think it's crucial to take a look at your specific requirements of what you and your organization are asking of your potential future solutions. And I find it really helps tremendously to outline those requirements. And it doesn't have to be a very lengthy list. Sometimes we'll do a top 10, which can actually be really powerful if you really hone in on what are those top 10 requirements specific to your organization. But also a sweet spot tends to be in the 20 to 30 range is what we see, especially if you're looking to embark upon a sizable implementation. And so some examples of certain requirements may be that you have certain POS systems that this new system must integrate with. And additionally, not only does it integrate with that system, but what data integrates from one system to the other system. So are there certain things, for example, like your customer list or your vendor list or your chart of accounts, that it's crucial to have a two-way sync between one system and another system, such as ERP and POS, or ERP and your accounts payable solution. So really understanding what does that requirement look like for your organization. There's also some industry-specific examples, which may be that project management and project tracking, grant tracking, the ability to track a certain number of variables or dimensions. So does it have up to 8 or more custom dimensions or custom fields, depending on if you need to customize your invoice templates in a certain way. So we've seen a lot of different examples depending on the industry, but as you can imagine, it will vary for your organization. And that's why we find it extremely powerful to sit down and with everyone throughout the process, including your team, and define what are the things that are crucial to you and your organization to ask of this future tool. When you're setting out to choose a new technology solution, I truly believe it's all about defining upfront what your organization's requirements are of that tool and gaining alignment with your team of what those requirements are. So when we talk about requirements, what we mean are things that are very specific to your organization. And so some examples may be if you have a POS system, that particular POS system must sync and align with whatever tool, like an ERP system, that you're implementing. Additionally, taking it a level deeper than that would be what syncs bidirectionally and what do you need to sync bidirectionally. So when you think about your list, whether it's your vendors, your customers, your chart of accounts, what tools do you need to speak both ways with your ERP system, for example, or your CRM system? And then there's some industry-specific examples that we see, such as grant tracking, project management, and others. And so you just want to make sure, for example, if your team is taking advantage of the purchasing process, are you using purchase requisitions versus purchase orders? Do you need an approval workflow? Does it need to support mobile apps? So these are all things that are unique to your organization and your unique business case. And so we love seeing a top 10 requirements that can actually be really powerful if you're able to hone in on the top 10. And otherwise, I would say the average number of requirements we see is anywhere from 20 to 30, usually not much more than that. And you can highlight them as need to have, must have versus nice to have, and kind of stack rank them that way. And so what results is actually a very clear picture of what your organization is looking for from your tool versus the ability of the tools you're looking at to meet those objectives. And so we do that frequently, whether it's for internal tools or helping organizations.